Hey YouTube, this is Eddie's Tech Talk, and I'm back. And it's been a long time for all 5 of you that are still around and still watching. Thanks for being back. But it's been a while, and there's been some reasons for that. It's more than just burnout or haven't made content or haven't bought things or anything like that. Um, but I want to talk about the purpose for this channel. I want to talk about refurbished electronics, and these things are related, and we'll get to that. But I want to briefly talk about, and this is mostly for me more than anybody else, just what I've been thinking and what's been happening and what I want for the future of the channel, if there is to be a future for the channel, which I hope there is. So really, my priorities have changed. I'm going through this period of a lot of personal and professional change within my life. I'm now 27 years old. When I started Eddie's Tech Talk, I was 16, and I was living at home with my parents. Obviously hadn't gone to college or anything like that yet. Hadn't taken steps into a larger world to see different people and different perspectives necessarily. And obviously I've been able to do a lot of that in the intervening years. And I made content for many of those years. I made a lot of content while I was in college. So basically this is all to say that my perspective, my priorities, those things have changed. And for a while I've been struggling to reconcile Eddie's Tech Talk, what I've done here, the technology I've reviewed, the things I've learned, all of those things with some of my maybe changing or maybe just crystallized into purpose values, and really just me. What do I want? What do I want for the channel? What do I want for myself? And how do I live out those values within something like Eddie's Tech Talk? And what does that mean, right? That's a lot to say, and not a lot of description. And basically, one of the main things that's come into focus for me over the years has really been this focus on sustainability, focus on better environment. What are we doing to the environment? How can we lessen our impact on the environment? Because where we're going with climate change is not a great place, quite frankly. And look, our phones and tablets and computers, a really small piece of this overall pie when it comes to, if that pie is the contributors to climate change. Yeah, look, it's a small piece of the puzzle. But in late years, I've noticed a lot of, consumption for consumption's sake. And I've been guilty of it. I'm sure you've been guilty of it. We all know people at one point or another that, look, they buy something because it's shiny or cool or whatever. And maybe that's spur of the moment versus something they really want, which in my mind is different. It's okay to have hobbies. It's okay to spend money on the things you're passionate about. We all need that release from work and life, and I fully support that. I'm not here to make anyone feel guilty or I suppose preach in that way. I spend money on things I enjoy. But Eddie's Tech Talk, in a way, looking at it in kind of a retrospective, there's a lot of good that was done on Eddie's Tech Talk in my mind. I personally learned a lot. It was something I added to my resume. It was something I did to put myself out there a little bit more. And those are all good things. And I got to review technology, and there is a slant you could take, a point of view that's out there of, look, if I do a very thorough review and I review something to the best of my ability, put in the time that I want to put in, and it has someone make an informed purchase decision, or now maybe they're buying that iPhone, that Android phone, whatever, and that's going to last them a lot of years. They're going to get a lot of mileage out of that particular device. There's a point of view that says, hey, look, that's going to reduce e-waste. They're going to upgrade their device after a longer period of time. They're going to be happier with this device, partially because of the information you gave them. And that's going to lessen an overall environmental impact, that would happen. And there's certainly something to be said for that. But again, I want to try and avoid just consumerism, because at the end of the day, something like Eddie's Tech Talk, as it's historically been, is free advertising for companies. And that's was a great relationship. I got to look at the newest technology. These companies got publicity. I basically, as far as they were concerned, worked for free. I got a couple $100 a year from YouTube AdSense. So it's a good relationship. And there is that argument to be made that, look, this is a positive thing that you're doing. And that's true to an extent. But again, I don't want to focus so much on consumption for consumption's sake. And it's taken me a while to figure out how I want to do that and portray that accurately in a medium such as video and using something like Eddie's Tech Talk. And that's why, partially why I haven't been posting in the same way and haven't been making content and making videos. My passions, my priorities, my interests have changed a little bit too. I have a podcast covering a sports team I really enjoy, and that's where some of my creative juices as far as content creation go these days. So there's been more than just, the technology slant, but I want to make sure that I'm intentional with the content that I create. And I do intend to make some more content. I just bought an electric vehicle, and that's a new purchase, right? There's economic and ecological things that happen when you buy especially a new car with all that goes into it. But that replaced a gas car. So we're talking about a net positive for the environment. And this is what I want to focus more of the channel on, is things that are technologically great and exciting and those things, but things that are lessen impact on the environment, rather than, hey, is the newest iPad better than the previous one? Is the Pixel 9 going to be better than the Pixel 8? I think that that's kind of worn out, quite frankly, or at least to me it's worn out. I'm less interested in those kinds of things as I used to be. And again, a lot of it I attribute to the environment, but quite frankly, is the iPhone 16 going to be that different from the iPhone 15? Not really. Whereas the iPhone 4 was fundamentally different from the iPhone 3GS. The Google Pixel 6 was a major departure from the Pixel 5 to Pixel 4. We're not really seeing that as much within technology as it is. You could buy, and there's pretty good deals out there right now, last generation iPad Air. It's not that much different from the current generation of iPad Air. Whereas again, the iPad 3 to 4 or some of these other changes were more substantial. So hopefully you can see the reason why I haven't posted content. It's just a big confluence of factors. There's a lot there. I'm getting married. I've got a lot of things going on. I bought a house. I have things there. But also technology, while it's still a place that I'm passionate about, a place I'm interested in, I've struggled to reconcile my values of eco-friendliness, of thoughtful consumption, let's say, things that really bring joy to your life, or invest in a passion versus just, I'm going to buy the new thing because it's the new thing. So that's it. That's where we're at. That's why Eddie's Tech Talk hasn't had a lot of content. But something did happen, and of course I wanted to make this video, but something did happen to make me think, this is an interesting angle, something I think I can provide perspective on. And that's refurbished electronics. And I've bought quite a few refurbished electronics over the years. And the first thing I'll say is your mileage may vary on those. I wholeheartedly recommend refurbished electronics for the most part, but an excellent condition device from an eBay reseller might be different than even a different eBay reseller. They might have different standards for excellent condition. I bought a Pixel 5 a few years ago that was supposedly in excellent condition. Looked like it had gotten run over by a car. So I returned it. It wasn't exactly as described. But I bought a couple things recently that I think really fit this eco ethos, because these are devices that were already produced. Someone else made the purchasing decision. The market forces and dynamics were basically decided by someone else, who isn't me. And then I got to reap the benefits of getting a refurbished product at a cheaper price. And again, mileage may vary, but in these two cases, a lot of value. And so I'll show that here just to talk about, what I'm sort of getting at. And then also, right, maybe consider for yourself. Cost savings, a lot of times the devices are pretty good. So the first one here is an Xbox Series X. And this is a refurbished direct from Microsoft Xbox Series X. I'm not a big console gamer. You can't see, but behind me is my PC gaming setup. It's pretty intense, and that's where I prefer to game. But the new college football game was coming out, and that's a console-only experience. And for people of a certain age and people of a certain persuasion, that game coming out was huge. Luckily, I have the means to buy a console just for one game, and that's what I did. But I wanted to keep things cost-conscious. I didn't want to buy a brand new console necessarily. That was going to be really expensive. And I was able to get a great deal on a refurbished device. The Xbox Series X retails for $500, $499.99. I got this for $430 direct from Microsoft with a controller. It's over there. And I actually had a coupon that I think took 60 bucks off as well. So a big deal that I got, on the device here. The manufacturing date's actually on the back of this Xbox. It was manufactured January 16th, 2024, and as of recording, it's currently August of 24. So it's a refurbished device, but it wasn't even made that long ago. And this is something I think is a great refurbished purchase, because a console, especially if it's refurbished by the manufacturer, it has certain specifications that it meets. And if there's a mark or a ding on it, it's a console. You're not looking at it all the time. It's living in your entertainment center, living behind your TV, those kinds of things. And this thing arrived looking brand new. If you wouldn't have told me this was a refurbished device, there's no way I would have known. I mean, if you look at the characteristics of the device as we turn it around and kind of show you the angles from afar, every angle of this looks brand new. It came looking brand new. And importantly, the controller, the thing that I do look at and interact, that also looked brand new. So, and it came with all the accessories, refurbished, quote unquote, HDMI cable, looked brand new. So definitely something I would recommend, buying a refurbished console, those kinds of things if you're looking to save money. This did come, I believe, as well with some kind of manufacturer warranty. So that's good additionally. So would recommend, and again, the economic sort of factors that go into the demand for the Series X, it's pretty low. The demand is not that high for the Xbox, but someone else made that decision, and I got to buy something that was already produced and friendlier to the environment versus a new unit. The next device I'm going to talk about was one I didn't really think I was going to go for, because you do touch it, you're with it, you're typing on it, and that's a laptop, refurbished laptop. And you don't know what kind of Cheeto dust someone else is putting on a laptop. You just don't know some of these kinds of things. Quite frankly, right, it's a high-use device. Like, I still don't know if I'd buy a refurbished pair of headphones, given the amount of time they'll spend on it in your ears. But this has surprised me quite a bit. And this is a place, again, where I saved significant money. I just wanted a laptop. It didn't have to be a Chromebook. I wanted a laptop, basically just to type stuff on, do some web application type things, check bank accounts and plan wedding things and those kinds of things. So I didn't have to be in here tethered to my computer. I could do something outside on my deck. I could do something in the living room with my fiance. I could do these kinds of things. So this is what I got. I got it for, I think it was $192 or $198, just under 200 bucks. And this is a Lenovo gaming Chromebook. And what that basically means is it has a Core i3 processor. It doesn't scream gaming, but it was built for cloud gaming. So your GeForce Nows and your Xbox Game Pass Ultimate streaming, those kinds of things. So it has a fabulous screen. It has a high refresh rate screen. It looks amazing. It's one of the best laptops, quite honestly, I've ever owned. And one of the big concerns with a device like this is the battery. Is it going to get a bad battery or those sorts of things? This one, I looked at the cycle count of the battery. I think the cycle count was 3. So basically, they tested it out and that was it. It looked brand new, but this one did have a small mark on it. And I'll hold this up to the camera. Hopefully it'll focus. Hopefully you can see that. But in that corner of the device, a piece of the plastic housing on the bottom did break off. And when it came to me newly refurbished, with this corner, the piece of the chassis was actually still on here, but it overlapped the bottom piece of the chassis, and it actually just broke off in a couple different pieces. So it's not sharp. I can run my finger along it, no issues. I probably could have returned it and got a new one, but everything else was in immaculate condition. I feel like it had never been used, and this was probably where it met its previous demise. Someone probably just dropped it, on the ground right here, and then broke something, and they returned it back to Lenovo and got refurbished, sent to me. So this is one of the best deals I've gotten in technology in quite a while, because again, I didn't make the original decision to purchase it. I didn't purchase it new. I think new this retailed for like 600 bucks or something, pretty expensive, and I was able to get it for less than half that. So there's a lot of great things about refurbished electronics. The eco-friendliness, that's big. The sustainability, that matters a lot to me, and it might not matter as much to you, but to me, that was a big thing for sure. But then also the cost savings. I mean, that's not something to be overlooked. I saved at minimum 70 bucks over retail on my Xbox. And then over this, I saved several $100 over a new version of this, and this does exactly what I want. The charger looked brand new. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but this even looked brand new except for that thing in the corner, and was just a fabulous deal. So we're trying to meet that ethos, right? I still need technology to do things, and so do you, quite frankly. I'm not saying never buy something new again or turn into some ultra non-consumption person. We all have to do those things, make the world go round, and we just need things. It just is what it is. But I do think that this is a way to be a little more respective of the world around us, and look at things just a little bit differently, which is what I've been trying to do before bringing Eddie's Tech Talk back. How do I live out my values of wanting to be more conscientious in my consumption versus just here's the new thing, here's the new thing, here's the new thing. And sometimes that means new products that are from yesteryear. Sometimes that means refurbished. And sometimes it means new, but it just means new. And I really had to think about, is that something that I really want to, invest my money in making that consumption decision? So there's been a lot here, right? It's mostly been me rambling, but hopefully with some illustrative examples, you can see where I'm coming from and see a bit of how I'm trying to rethink Eddie's Tech Talk. So let me know what you think in the comments section down below. As always, I suppose, as I used to say, let me know in the comments. But with that said, this is Eddie's Tech Talk, and I am signing out.